Greetings and welcome back to Studio Satino. Today I'm going to show you a scrapbook I found of Dad's announcements postcards of his shows. And these are spanning from early 1980s, so I've got one here dated 1984, going through I think till about 2010. So it's just a scrapbook containing a kind of a history of Dad's shows. And so I'm going to start, it appears to start with the oldest on top and go forward in time as we go down. So we're going to look at them one at a time here. And this first one is not dated, but we can assume it's sometime around 1984. And it's Sunday, May 15th, $2.50 per person at Mona. For Mona members, and a guest is free. Mona is the Museum of Neon Art at 704 Traction Avenue in Los Angeles, California. So this was a show Dad did at the Museum of Neon Art. I can't be sure, but I'm pretty sure Dad had a friend who did a lot of neon art and was probably one of the key figures of this museum. I forget the man's name. Might have been Doc Group, but I don't think it was Doc Group. Okay, and so this one is titled David Scott Roomscapes. It is dated October 13th through November 10th, 1984. Reception Saturday, October 13th. Photo by Robert Eisenberg. Title of the painting featured here is The Subject and the Painter. David Scott Roomscapes. That was at the Roger Morrison Gallery, 153 South La Brea Avenue in Los Angeles, California. So I think that's at Roger Morrison Gallery. And yeah, anyway, Roomscapes. And so that's the first one. And next one is Uncovering the Past. Tribute and Parody, September 7th, 1986. And it doesn't appear to be featuring one of Dad's pieces of work on the front, but it says Long Beach Museum of Art, 2300 East Ocean Boulevard, Long Beach, California. Uncovering the Past, featuring artists Jerry Anderle, Joel Bass, Robert Colescott, Joseph Cornell, Susanna Dadd, Suzanne Hall, Peter Hess, Ellen Lampert, David Ligari, Ron Rizk, Peter Sari, David Satino Scott, and Mark Wethley. So, Tribute and Parody was the name of that show in 1986. And that was, the piece on the front was by Jerry Anderle, 1981, Beatrice d'Este, after Leonardo, Joy Point, and Mezzotint on copper cut plate. Long Beach Museum of Art. Anyway, enough of that one. Oh, and I see he thought that was important enough that he decided to put one copy of it face up and one copy face down. So we can move on to the next. And this next one is David Scott Still Lifes. David Satino Scott Still Lifes. And the date is 1989. Tarkov Ladenslager. Tarkov Ladenslager, David Satino Scott. Satino Scott. And one of Dad's paintings is featured on the front of it here. Well, I'm not holding that too close for the camera to focus on it. And what a coincidence that I would have a very similar painting to that sitting here next to me on the couch. That is a complete coincidence. Very interesting. No date on this, but it says Flying Saucer, 1989, oil on canvas, 41 by 51 inches. And the next one here says Harcourt's Modern and Contemporary Art is pleased to announce the inaugural exhibition of our new gallery at 460 Bush Street. Please join us at a reception and preview of the works of the artists Nicholas Tarkov, Jeff Laudenslager, David Satino Scott. The reception will be held Thursday, September 14th. Nothing else. It's just an invitation. Alrighty, moving right along. Next one. Henri Gallery, Washington, D.C. 1990. I'm sure Dad's wife Sarah would remember this if she was looking at this. She was probably there. And it had a lot to do with this. It says David Satino Scott, March 3rd through 28th, 1990. Opening reception, Saturday, March 3rd. Henri Gallery, 1500 21st Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. And it even has their phone number. And I guess Dad was showing some of his screens there maybe or something. I don't know. I don't want to hold it too close to the camera, but I want you to see what it is. And one of those screens is right behind me, right behind you as I'm filming here, right behind the camera. You often see it as a backdrop to my videos on this page. Okay, moving along. Next one is titled Painting. Painting commissioned for the Tokyo Granary Exchange. And Dad was commissioned to go to Tokyo and do this installation, I guess a mural, in their Granary Exchange, 1991. Oil on panel. So there's that one. Next. Natura Naturans. Nature viewed as form-giving or creative, the supreme essential being of the world. And one of Dad's paintings is featured on the front of this card here. I hope you're not getting too much glare. Maybe I should open this up. The scrapbook is still in functioning condition. Oh, and this opens up. Okay, so Natura Naturans, nature viewed as form-giving or creative, the supreme or essential being of the world. I think in the 90s it was really popular to use these sort of ethereal kind of supernatural sort of woo-woo titles in your art. David Satino Scott, Natura Naturans, Triptychs, Tondos, and Screens. Triptychs, Tondos, and Screens. January 10th through February 2nd, 1991 at the Copland Gallery, 1438 9th Street, Santa Monica, California. Be interesting to find out how many of these galleries are still in business and what they're up to nowadays. I wonder if they'd like to feature any of Dad's work now. I'd be happy to facilitate that if any of you are watching. Okay, next one. I'm not sure if these are connected. Okay, let's go with this because this seems to be the sequential way to do it. And this is just a photograph of one of Dad's paintings. I think it's one that I might still have here in the studio somewhere. I think it's really, 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 really big. And it's got the beautiful signature handmade custom frame around it, probably gold leafed. David Satino Scott, Eve Dreaming. Oh, it's only 20 by 26 inches. 1986. Well, maybe it's not the one I'm thinking of, but I have one similar to that somewhere around here. Okay. Next thing we got here, The Artist and the Myth. Artist Myth. Enduring Myths, Traditional Art of the Americas, guest curated by Linda Samuels with generous loans from the Southwest Museum in Los Angeles, the Lowy Museum of Anthropology, University of California, Berkeley, and the Mexican Museum in San Francisco, August 29th through November 15th. That's kind of interesting. Monterey Peninsula Museum of Art. Members reception, September 11th, 1987. And it lists a lot of artists that were featured in this show. Very interesting. And David Satino Scott, there it is. He's there. Myth, art, myth. Interesting. You know, and a lot of this stuff is stuff that I never, you know, Dad, for a big part of his life, you know, I really didn't know what he was up to. I didn't really care much myself. I was young and living my own life and doing things. Probably things I shouldn't have been doing. Let's see here. Next one here is called Pure Vision Paintings. And 3 artists are featured here. Reverend Howard Finster, Galen Hansen, and David Satino Scott, November 6th to December 4th, 1986. This round, I guess, when Dad's art career was really peaking. And it says David Satino Scott will discuss his work on Thursday. preceding the opening at the University Art Gallery at California State University of San Bernardino. And this is just a mailer, but that's what it is. And then there's something here on the other side of it. I don't know if this is connected or not. But this is also a mailer for Anachronism at the University of Southern California Fisher Gallery. Oh, and I see, looks like Dad took the time to put this in twice, so I don't have to remove it from the plastic. Anachronism was the name of the show. And it was at the University of Southern California Fisher Gallery. And this is the front of it. I think. Is that right? Yeah. And then it looks like he maybe used the same image for the Archetypes show at the Copland Gallery in Santa Monica. Okay, this one is called well, there's no information on it. Let's see what's in here. Okay. Oh, this is another thing for the Archetypes show, January 30th, 1988 at the Copland Gallery. And the painting featured on the front is called Nude with Black Ribbon, 1987. 64 inches by 94 inches, and I think that's the one I have here with the huge, giant, ornate, custom-made frame. Because that's pretty big, 64 inches by 94. So, you know, that's usually going to be the height, 64 inches. That's almost 3 feet. No, yeah. 64 inches. No, it's more than that. It's like that's a lot. 4.5 feet, I don't know, 5 feet. Big. Huge painting. I can't move it myself. I think I'm looking at it right now. It's enormous. And it's heavy. I would need probably at least 4 guys to move it total. To move it safely. That's why it's staying put for now. Okay, next one. Tursk and Whitney Gallery. Tursk and Whitney Gallery. Wonder if they're still in operation. It'd be fun to look these up. One-man show. January 9th through February 14th, 1987. David Satino Scott. Sacred and Profane Acts, also at the Copland Gallery in Santa Monica. So, 1993, this is 1994. So, apparently he did more than one show at the Copland Gallery. Many shows at the Copland Gallery, it looks like. So, Jeffrey Laudenschlager, new work. Looks like he showed with Laudenschlager more than once. David Satino Scott, Paintings from Earth, December 11th through January 9th. Reception for the artist, December 10th, 1992, at Harcourt's Modern and Contemporary Art. And that's on Bush Street in San Francisco, California. And so yeah, then on the front he showcases one of the paintings from Earth. And this is one I believe that is still here in the studio. Alrighty. So I'm a little upset because, you know, I did, before when I was doing these videos for this page, I was doing them in a live stream format, which wasn't ideal in the first place, but it turned out to be really a bad idea because Facebook then decided to change its policies regarding live videos and take them all down. And so I got this notice from Facebook, you know, if you want your live videos, if you want to keep them, you have to download them. And then, you know, I'd have to re-upload them again. And of course, they made it nearly impossible to figure out how to download your videos. And once you did, it's in some weird format that you can't use. So pretty much a pain in the butt. So I guess from now, that's what I got. From now on, I won't try to do them in live format. I'm going to film them like this in full rich format and upload them the old-fashioned way. So they will stay there and you can enjoy them. And if Facebook decides to delete them, I can upload them again somewhere else, which I might do. Okay, this one, it's just paintings from Earth, Loudenschlager and David Satino Scott. Olive Hills, 1992. I think I showed you guys this painting in the last video. And he's just showcasing it here. And the show he did in 1992. Don't even know where that was. There's Naturans again. Okay. Electrokinetic box art. Ray Howlett, Dave Quick, and David Scott. And in another video, I did showcase some of Dad's electrokinetic art. This was a show that happened in 1983. So we've broken our sequence here. I thought they were going in a temporal sequence, but they're not. So, but anyway, this was opening reception at the Museum of Neon Art. So this was another show at the Museum of Neon Art, 1983. Or maybe it was the same show that we saw earlier, and this is just a different flyer for it. David Satino Scott, A Pure Working at the Riverside Art Museum. That was December 30th, 2000. And this might be pretty boring material for, you know, a lot of people, but, and it's not even that interesting to me, but it's my dad's work, and I feel like some duty to like preserve it and make a record of it that's more permanent. So that's kind of my purpose of doing this and showing these to you. So this one was at the San Luis Obispo Art Center and the Cuesta College Art Gallery, presenting sculpture and paintings of David Satino Scott dedicated to Arnie Nyback. Don't know who Arnie Nyback is. A friend of Dad's, I assume. Oh, no, wait. I think Arnie Nyback might be the guy who self-immolated himself in protest of the Vietnam War. Grand simultaneous receptions, Friday, January 28, 2000. There will be a free shuttle bus, blah, 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 blah. And featured is Alice, which is one of the monks that Dad, sculptures behind me that you probably can't see right now, of the monks. And behind that, California State University, Dominguez Hills, The Mythic Figure. New work by John Nava, David Satino Scott, and Harrison Storms. This is 1993. 1993. So we're not even trying to go in sequence anymore. Let's see if there's a picture on the other side. There is, but it's not one of Dad's paintings. It's a painting by John Nava. So, anyway, just another show Dad was doing. Some fellow artists. Okay, this one is called the Cuesta College Art Gallery. 2 installations. David Satino Scott, Authority Figures, and Ray Beldner and Robin Lasser, No Remorse. And there's nothing on the back of that. It's just a mailer. Not a very interesting photograph either. On the back of that is the Still Lifes painting again. Let's see here. New American artists. Amarine, Curtis Scott, and Shenge at the Shed Howland. Shell Howland at Siefelstrasse. Tursk and Turs, Siefelstrasse, Zurich. So I guess this is a show that Dad did in Switzerland, in Zurich. Never know Dad had ever even been to Switzerland, so that's news to me. Wonder if that gallery is still in existence. On the back it says, it's another Copland Gallery show. It says David Satino Scott, Jenna Still Life Paintings and Sculpture, 1989, at the Copland Gallery in Santa Monica. So, I think Dad sold a lot of work through the Copland Gallery in Santa Monica. A lot of Dad's patrons were, you know, like Hollywood figures, you know, people, and a lot of his paintings probably went up in flames in those fires when all those houses burned up in Malibu. I'll bet a lot of Dad's paintings were in those houses. Anyway, this was the painting featured on the Copland Gallery invitation. Jenna's Still Life Paintings and Sculpture. And the name of that painting is Deposition, 1988, oil on panel, 48 by 66 inches. Deposition. Dad did a number of paintings involving a fallen vase or a broken bouquet. He did one of a bouquet of roses that was on fire. I loved that one. I wonder who got it. David Scott, The Timeless Feminine Form, recent paintings. Vault Gallery in Cambria, California. So, nice to find a better date on that. But anyway, something he did in Cambria. Dad told me that he got just really bored of painting flowers and he didn't want to paint flowers anymore, even though that was really his bread and butter. And that he wanted to paint naked women instead. So that's probably what that is. Recent paintings, The Timeless Feminine Form. And at Amron Gorley Ramirez Scott, 4 California painters, featured 1987 at Turskin Whitney Gallery. At the Turskin Whitney Gallery in La Brea, Los Angeles, California. I think think I remember driving around with Dad to some of these galleries. Cuesta College Art Gallery, David Satino Scott Selected Works, 1985 through 88. Just another show he did at Cuesta, probably among several. And David Satino Scott, Heights of Fancy. Dad did a lot of paintings featuring trapeze artists. He was inspired when he went to see Cirque du Soleil. And a lot of those paintings are popular and sold. I have like a few of them left, but a couple of them I think need repair. Topps Gallery presenting David Satino Scott, Flights of Fancy. I hate it when they give you a date, but they don't give you the year. November 12th. Okay, great. There's nothing here that would indicate to me what year it is. Anyway, we know what the other side of it looks like because I just showed you that. Then also at Susan Street Fine Art Gallery, we invite you to view new works by David Satino Scott. This one is, Dad did a lot of these paintings of, what are these, calla lilies? And God, people love them, and they bought them up really fast, or I don't know, some of them, how they disappeared. David Satino Scott paintings, cut. When I began these works, I was initially interested in the problems of contemporary youth, their self-destructive behavior, the addictions to dangerous substances and activities. The physical effects are obvious: depression, self-abuse, multiple tattoos, bulimia, anorexia, the cutting and piercing of the skin, and of course the drugs, legal and illegal, to anesthetize their chronic psychological pain. And narcissism, a sort of paralysis or apathy is common, along with a need for attention. I have learned that narcissism originates in infancy. Psychologists tell us that when a child is denied some important need, the choices he or she subsequently makes are influenced by that early experience of deprivation. As I worked on these images with paint, I began to see further into the damage of my own psyche. My own narcissism became clearer to me looking into these images on canvas. I was truly gazing into that original pool of water, and I was mesmerized by my own reflection. We all have been wounded in some way, some of us more severely than others. It was not just contemporary youth that I was describing. I came to see the paintings as specific metaphors for the psychological damage in us all. David Satino Scott, May 15, 2007. 2007. Interesting, yeah. For someone who was concerned about that, he didn't show a lot of concern for his own son in that regard. Here's one of the paintings he's referring to from that series. Not to speak poorly of my father, but I believe he was probably more interested in the young boobies than he was in the narcissist or drug abuse or self-damage. Dad was kind of obsessed with younger women. You noticed he didn't paint any men in that series of paintings, just women. Someone once challenged him on that. They said, how come all of your paintings of men are portraits of faces and all of your paintings of women are nudes, often not showing the face? And so Dad started doing a series of portraits of women after that to prove that he wasn't a misogynist bastard. And he wasn't by any stretch. I mean, you know, not worse than anybody else, you know, especially, you know, coming from his generation. This is a show he did at the Steinberg Gallery. Back in 2011. And on the other side, another one of his beautiful floral paintings is featured here. It's a mailer for Arts Obispo Open Studios Art Tour, North San Luis Obispo County. So you're invited to the studio here in San Miguel. This was in 2010. San Miguel is pretty far off the beaten path, so I would be surprised if many people showed up. This is one of Dad's paintings. And I was contacted recently by some guy who said this is his wife and was interested in getting a hold of this painting, which I think I do have around here somewhere. But then I never heard from him again about it later. I don't know. A lot of people contact me. Most of them, I don't know, they kind of mostly just kind of, I don't know like what they want. Steinberg Gallery, titled New Figure Paintings, 2007. So presumably that's what the one I just showed you. Steinberg, I guess Steinberg was showing a lot of Dad's nudes. I'm not sure, but I think that gallery closed down and Steinberg retired in Hawaii or something. Probably made a lot of money. What's this? San Luis Obispo Art Center. slowartcenter.org. Don't know what that's all about. Some kind of a invitation, I guess. And let's see here. I think we have come to the end. This is the last one. January 15th through February 28th, 2010. David Stino Scott, California Primitive, a retrospective at the San Luis Obispo Art Center. And there the record ends. So I know Dad may have had other shows since then. I'm pretty sure he's had at least a few, and maybe I'll find another scrapbook. And when I do, I'll show it to you. But that's the first one I found. Before I let you go, we'll just take a quick look at this beautiful painting, this beautiful still life that Dad did. This is called Study 3 Oranges, Cuesta, A14B, 1989. 19.5 inches by 23.5 inches, oil on panel. Beautiful. It's got the handmade frame that Dad did, beautifully mounted on there. I love the way Dad made them, so durable. Don't have to worry about damaging them. That's an amazing painting. All right. As usual, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned to this channel for more videos. I'm going to show you some more paintings. I just found kind of a cache of a bunch of paintings I didn't know about, so I'm going to be showing you those guys in the next video. See you then.